Who cares about a sign? What sign? Lia was their group's one girl. He hoped she would join them later in the pub. She still lived on these roads. Decision made, he carried on driving, ready to use up half an hour in the nearest shop. He asked himself, will I buy the expensive beers to remind them that I'm doing well in my job? Will I buy those thicker, better crisps? Don't. I'm thinking. You're someone's son. That's right, he said. Don't tell me. Téo understood. He was almost memorable. Middle-sized and not athletic, he was shorter in the world than he was in his head. If he were ever shown a menu of genie wishes, he meant to add 5 inches to his height and leave matters there. He looked all right in photos. Especially his chin. It had a rare central dimple. At the age of 30, Téo kept his hair short against the threat of its spooling out, coiled and unruly, which he had been famed for and lightly teased about at school. For clothes, he favoured zips, pockets, lasting materials. He was loyal to his colours. He wore the same pale blues or charcoal greys or overwashed whites, whether for work or a weekend in Enfield, or only to hang about doing nothing in his rented flat by the river. Téo was sure that London had taken the measure of him. London had reached its decision. He was average as a citizen. And in among his responses to this, some frustration, some self-pity, there was peace. Where he lived now, in Aldgate, near London's financial district, nobody expected much of him. Neighbours on his floor called him Tio instead of Téo, leaving out the Polish stress. He could escape the building with nods in reply to greetings, silences, not chats. He hadn't made many friends since he moved in from the suburbs, a deliberate fending off of additions to the guilt they could still exact from him at home. He had been careful to arrange a life in which he could leave obligations at the door of his flat next to the coins he saved for Ben's poker nights and his shoes that were comfiest for driving. Téo went home once a month. He heard complaints if his visits became any less frequent than that. Instead of taking the train north out of Liverpool Street, he liked to drive, slow coaching up the A10 on a Friday after work, light to light, passing bars and pubs and cemeteries, later the hospital where he was born. This far north, the suburbs touching countryside, one location was always quite far from another. He felt better bringing the car. I'm Vic Erskine's son, he told the shopkeeper. Theodore. People call me Téo. Ah, said the man. Been ill, hasn't he? Who? My dad? Yeah. He's got Parkinson's, hasn't he? This place. It's something like Parkinson's, Téo explained. One of the surname diseases. Your slow declines. I come back to see him as often as I can. They had verbal contractions specific to this suburb that were rarely heard anywhere else. Along laddered roads of terraced houses, on estates or mansion roads, they spoke a muddled Londonese that was everything, part Irish, Asian, African, Mediterranean, Jewish, Eastern European. It sounded good tonight. Téo was excited suddenly about seeing old friends. He was asked by the shopkeeper, How far away do you live these days? Do you know Aldgate? He had ferried some beers to the counter. He chose crisps. Only Aldgate, whistled the shopkeeper. Bit east as well. You might call it as far as Whitechapel, yeah? Not that far, though. I hear you. I should visit back more often. There's no excuse. Except this, thought Téo. The grief. The guilt. Boys, he told them in greeting. Cards were being shuffled. Stacks of £1 and £2 coins were being put in order on the table.